Horse racing fans, did any of you see Luck on Sunday this Sunday? There was a story on there that really got to me. It does every time I hear stories of this ilk. If not, I'll quickly share it with you. On the Luck on Sunday programme this week, they had a jockey on there. Now, I don't remember the jockey. I can't remember his name and I've not wrote it down. He's one of these jockeys that's had a really, really bad accident a few years ago and unfortunately now he's in a wheelchair. I think he started off in GB in Britain. And then I think he went over, he was, I think, once champion apprentice, if memory serves. Then he went over to ride in Hong Kong, and I think he had this career-ending injury, which could have been life-ending, in Dubai, I think he said. Seemed a lovely fellow. Anyway, he's in the studio there in his wheelchair, and he's talking about lots of things to do with horse racing, and the best horses he's ridden, and so on and so forth. And he was saying to, who was doing the show? I know who was doing the show, I can't remember. Nick Luck was in, I think it was in Hong Kong for the big race in there, as it turned out this weekend. I know who was doing the show, but his name doesn't come to mind. Anyway, the guy said to him, who was interviewing me, he said, so you still follow racing, obviously you're still keen. He said, yeah, and I still like a bet. Oh, he said, mind you, that's when I can get on. And then the guy said to him, so when you can get on, why do you have trouble getting on? He said, well, you do from time to time. He said, and I don't get it because I'm not a massive gambler. He said, I don't gamble fortunes and I don't gamble all the time. He said, but I'm finding it harder and harder to get a bet on. So he said to him, he said, well, in what way? He said, do you bet a lot? He said, well, no. He said, I'll give you for instance. He said, I don't really want to name the company, to call out the company, but I'll have to tell you how it works. He said, I placed some money a couple of weeks ago with Ladbrokes. He said, I might just have a bet. I think he was going to say one horse a day or even one horse a week. If I really fancy something, I'll do a lot of studying and I'll bet it. He said, and I am reasonably successful. I win more than I lose. But not massively so, he said, because I don't put massive amounts on. He said, anyway, I deposited £100 with Ladbrokes only the other week. He said, I seen a horse that I fancied, and I wanted £50 each way on it before the off. He said, and I tried to get me bet on, and a message come up, restricted. All they would let him have on was £2. Now, I don't know if he said £2 each way, or £1 each way to the total of £2, but say it's £2 each way. He wanted 50 on each way, they allowed him £2 each way. This is a guy that has a bet from time to time and is reasonably successful, but doesn't put loads on and isn't massively successful. They wouldn't let him have the bet on. He said, so what I decided to do, just as I had time on my hands and just to see how it worked, I put the same £100 in the casino side of things, because you hear that they seem to restrict with casino and not on horse racing, which I think is wrong. He said, anyway, I went on with the fruit machine. He said, and now I don't play casino on any of these gambling sites. I'm not into it and I don't really understand it. He said, I'll give you an idea of how little I understand. He said, I thought I was having the maximum bet, I think it was to £2, on some, it was either a roulette thing or I think it was a fruit machine, I think he said. And I didn't realise the maximum was times 50. He said, so in one spin or two spins, he said, I lost the £100. He said, but that's the what's it of the story, the motto there. He said, they let me lose £100 on casino in 2 minutes. They wouldn't let me lose or win with the £100 on one horse. He said, and I just don't get it. And for all you people that gamble out there and have a bet, and I know there's a few of you because you follow me Neil Marie stuff, honestly and genuinely, I've never signed up to one of these petitions to the government to get them to change the way they're going to look at our accounts and the information they want and everything else. And I want to, because I believe the government shouldn't be allowed to do this. I believe the 365s, the Corals, the Ladbrokes, the Willie Mills of this world shouldn't be allowed to do it. I think if you, especially if you bet with a long time like I have and many of you have, if we're happy to say we're happy to lose this per day, per week, per month, they should be happy with it. As long as we've not won absolutely fortunes in the last few years, and none of us have, let's face it, what's the problem? But I've always said the betting companies want it all their own way. They're actually asking us to sign these petitions so as they don't have to overlook at our affairs, or the government doesn't have to, so they don't have to put limits on with us, and so we can bet more money with them and ultimately lose money, because many of us are losers. But the other side of the coin is, if we start winning or if we are winners, they don't want us. They won't let us put a bet on. They want us to bet more when it's losing and they don't want the government getting involved, but they want us to bet a hell of a lot less or not bet at all when we're winning. And I think it's an awful thing what these gambling companies are doing. And the gambling companies have got many of us signing these petitions. And I think the upshot will be, at the end of it, the government will relax a lot of laws. A lot of what they're looking at doing, I don't think they'll do. because they'll lose that much in revenue that the bookmakers pay them, because we'll bet a hell of a lot less or we'll go to the black market. I don't think all these changes will come in, and certainly not to the stage that they're being discussed at this moment in time. I think they'll be a lot more lenient. But still, even though many of us will have signed these petitions and help the bookmakers, help them to get more money off us, because we can bet more, there's not the restrictions there, that will help the betting companies, but it will only help the betting companies and those that want more on that regularly lose. Those that want to bet on that are winners, not necessarily serial winners, but winners and aren't regular losers. They don't want our money, they don't want that. So for me, the bookmakers want it absolutely all ends up, and I just refuse to sign these petitions. I think it's wrong. Until the bookmakers start playing the game, I think it's wrong. When you consider this, it's the oldest profession, and used to go in the ring and you could have any kinds of bets, any numbers of bets, and these bookmakers would take the bets off you. And when they've bragged about William Hill and is it the Magic Sign and Ladbrokes being the two biggies on the high street, I've got something with William Hills, and I can only bet minimum amounts with William Hills. I've never been that successful. Never at all. I put anti-post bets on at Cheltenham, some of the specials that they do, some that aren't specials, and on the specials the maximum they'll let me win is about 100 quid. On the other bets maybe 200 quid. Regardless of what I put on, that's all they'll let you win. And I'm thinking, well, you're worth absolutely millions and millions and millions, and I'm not a serial winner. I'm not usually a winner, so why can't I get a bet on with you? I can afford it, there's no issues there. It's just that they're worried all the time about exposure. It's unbelievable, it's crazy. So no, these petitions aren't for me, but that chap telling the story just tells you more and more about these bookmakers and how they operate. No, we won't let you bet on horse racing because there's a chance you could win. We'll let you bet on fruit machines and roulette all day long, because the chances of you winning are so little, it's unbelievable. We're on a win-win there, so come on. Come ahead, folks, bet all your money, anything you want, empty your pockets, we'll take it all day long, every minute of every day. But bet on something that you know about, where it might be a more even playing field and where you might beat us. No. We don't want to know. No, we don't want to know. Go elsewhere and let them close you down as well.